Whether you're new to investing or have been at it for decades, following some tried and true rules can give you more confidence, reduce risk, and make you more successful. This podcast will review 10 investing rules you should know and use to achieve your financial goals. Hey friends, thanks for downloading the show. I'm Laura Adams, an award-winning author, media spokesperson, and money speaker, hosting the Money Girl podcast since 2008 with over 42 million downloads. I'm also the founder of The Money Stack, a weekly newsletter and community helping you build your bank account on your terms. It includes each week's podcast, money tips, tools, things I enjoy, and invitations to live educational events and video replays. So I'd love for you to sign up for free at lauradadams.com. And if you like what you hear on Money Girl, please take a second to subscribe. And even better, leave us a 5-star rating or review if you're so inclined. That's a really easy way to give back to the show if you're getting value from the free content that I love giving you here. And if you have money questions, you can leave them on our voicemail line at 302-364-0308 or email me using my contact page at lauradadams.com. All right, let's get into the 10 rules for successful investing that you should know. Number 1 is know your financial big picture. So before you fork over any money for an investment, you need to understand your financial situation and how investing should or shouldn't fit into it. For instance, do you have any dangerous debts that should be addressed? Or do you need to fill any insurance gaps that could devastate your finances if you don't have them? You should have a healthy emergency savings account for any short-term needs, like unexpected expenses or something that you're planning to buy in a few years, like maybe a car or a home that you want, let's say in the next 3 to 5 years. Your savings should never be invested. You want to keep a cash reserve that's really safe in an FDIC-insured high-interest savings account, so it's always there for you. The value of that account is never going to change. It's only going to get higher as interest accrues. If you experience a hardship like losing your job or your business income, having that cash in the bank can keep your financial life from spiraling out of control or getting into debt. A good target for your emergency fund is 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses, like your housing, food, utilities, healthcare, and debt payments. For instance, if you spend $5,000 a month on living expenses, you might want to make a goal to keep at least $15,000 in savings. Rule number 2, adopt long-term thinking. Investing means choosing financial instruments. They could be mutual funds or exchange-traded funds with the expectation of future growth, which does mean accepting some amount of risk. The value of many types of investments are going to fluctuate, and some can fluctuate wildly within short periods. That's why you should avoid investing money that's earmarked for your short-term goals and your emergencies. In general, you should only invest money if you plan to own the investment for at least 5 years, preferably a decade or more. So selecting the best investments depends on your time horizon, which is the period that you expect to own an investment. And for most people, that horizon is going to be until retirement or beyond. Again, the money you expect to spend within the next few years should be saved, not invested. But the money that you're not going to need to touch for the long term is perfect for investing and building wealth. Rule number 3, create a diversified investment portfolio. Since no one can predict whether an investment's value will rise or fall, buying individual securities like stocks is not wise for average investors. A better strategy is owning diversified investments. They might be index funds, mutual funds, or exchange-traded funds, because these bundle investments, like they're going to bundle a bunch of investments together, and it could be stocks, bonds, or other securities, or just various stocks, or just various bonds. There are all kinds of different investment funds. Diversification is a really powerful strategy because it helps you reduce the risk of owning some riskier investments like stocks. you protect yourself by owning various investments that don't all move in tandem when economic conditions change. So when things in the economy happen, some of your investments may go up, some may go down, but the idea is that you're minimizing losses. So in general, diversifying your investments allows you to earn higher average returns while reducing risk. Again, if some securities within a fund lose value, others can hold steady or increase, minimizing those potential losses. Investment funds are highly diversified because they comprise hundreds or even thousands of underlying securities while being really convenient for investors to purchase. It would be difficult to own 100 or 1,000 investments, but you do that automatically when you own an investment fund. Rule number 4, don't try to beat financial markets. Thousands, maybe tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of full-time market professionals and investment managers can't earn returns that exceed the average market. In other words, it's almost impossible to pick the right stocks or other investment vehicles that consistently give you higher than average returns. But the good news is that the historical average return of the stock market, as a whole, has been about 10% since the 1920s. So if you have a long time horizon, you want to consider investing primarily in stock funds. As I mentioned, stock prices within a fund can fluctuate significantly in the short term, but they will likely increase over the long term. Rule number 5, minimize investment fees. The more you pay in transaction and ongoing investment fees, the lower your returns will be. Sometimes you don't have control over fees, like what your workplace 401k charges to manage your account. However, you can choose investments inside a retirement or inside a brokerage account that charge less, and these might include index and exchange-traded funds. When comparing options, you want to consider an investment fund's expense ratio. It's expressed as a percent of your investment. For example, if you have $10,000 invested in an ETF with a 0.05% expense ratio, you'll pay that fund $5 annually. Rule number 6, understand investment taxes. Understanding how investments are taxed outside of tax-sheltered accounts is essential for being prepared to pay them. For more about taxes on investments, be sure to listen to last week's podcast, episode number 819, called How Asset Location Cuts Taxes and Saves Money. I always recommend using tax-advantaged investment accounts. These can be workplace retirement accounts, individual retirement accounts or IRAs, self-employed retirement accounts, and even health savings accounts or HSAs to reduce, defer, or eliminate taxes. You can contribute to a retirement account if you have taxable compensation during the year, like salaries, wages, tips, bonuses, commissions, or self-employment income. The amount you can contribute to an IRA equals your taxable compensation up to $7,000 or $8,000 if you're over age 50 in 2024. And what's great is that minors can start saving for retirement when they get their first jobs. It could be a part-time weekend gig or full-time summer work. They can get a really good early start. Other retirement accounts have higher annual limits. For 2024, you can contribute up to $23,000 or $30,500 if you're over 50 to most employer-sponsored retirement plans. And depending on your self-employed income and age, you can contribute up to $76,500 to specific small business retirement plans if that applies to you. Rule number 7. Be familiar with retirement account rules. Retirement accounts can only be owned by an individual, even when you're married. There's no such thing as a jointly owned IRA or 401k. Each retirement account owner must qualify to make contributions based on their income. However, A minor's parents can contribute on a child's behalf up to the allowable limits, even if the funds come from a parent's bank account. So as long as a child has earned income, let's say they earned $3,000 with a summer job, they would qualify to make a $3,000 contribution to a Roth IRA. And again, that can come from the parent's money instead of actually from the child's money. But you can't deposit funds in someone else's retirement account if they don't qualify for that contribution in the first place. And an often overlooked retirement account rule is that if you're married and you file a joint tax return, but let's say only one of you is working, only one of you has compensation, the non-working spouse can max out a spousal IRA on your behalf. For example, if you're a married stay-at-home parent under age 50, you can contribute up to $7,000 in an IRA using your household income. Rule number 8. Use traditional retirement accounts for tax deductions. Traditional or regular accounts such as a traditional IRA or 401k allow you to make pre-tax contributions. In other words, you don't pay tax on the money you contribute in the current year. Instead, taxes on contributions and earnings get deferred until you make withdrawals in the future, and you must begin taking required minimum distributions or RMDs after age 72 or 73, depending on how old you are. Rule number 9. Use Roth retirement accounts for tax-free withdrawals. Roth accounts do require you to pay tax upfront on contributions, so they're not tax deductible. However, you can withdraw Roth contributions and earnings entirely tax-free in retirement. Like a traditional IRA, you can make Roth IRA contributions at any age as long as you have earned income. But unlike a traditional account, you never have required minimum distributions with a Roth. That means you can keep money in a Roth as long as you like or pass it to your heirs. Another unique feature of a Roth IRA is that it excludes high earners. Your contributions are reduced or even eliminated when your income exceeds annual thresholds. For 2024, single taxpayers cannot make Roth IRA contributions when they have modified adjusted gross income of $161,000 or higher. Joint filers get locked out when they have household modified adjusted gross income of $240,000 or higher. If you believe your income will be higher or maybe the country's tax rate will go up by the time you retire, it's better to use a Roth to pay a lower tax rate on less income now. But if you believe your income or your tax rate in retirement will be lower than today, it's better to use a traditional retirement account. You're deferring those taxes with the hopes or expectation that you'll pay less tax in the future. Having tax-free income from a Roth in retirement is a valuable benefit. But if you're unsure, you can always split contributions between both types of accounts. And our last rule, number 10. Use more than one tax-advantaged account. Another overlooked rule is that you can contribute to multiple tax-advantaged accounts if you qualify. These might include a traditional IRA, Roth IRA, workplace plan, self-employed plan, FSA, HSA, HRA, or a 529 college savings plan. However, your total contributions can't exceed allowable annual limits. For example, if you're under 50, you could contribute $3,500 to a traditional IRA and $3,500 to a Roth IRA if you qualify, or in any proportion you like in the same year. You can even max out an IRA and a retirement account at work in the same year. However, when you or a spouse have a workplace account, your tax deduction for traditional IRA contributions may be reduced or eliminated depending on your income. But that's not the case with a Roth IRA if you qualify for one. I hope this has been helpful. There are many investing rules to consider, but the ones we covered today, I think, have the most potential to help you build wealth. That's all for now. I'll talk to you next week. Until then, here's to living a richer life. Money Girl is a quick and dirty tips podcast. It's audio engineered by Steve Rickyberg. Our director of podcasts is Brandon Gachus. Our digital operations specialist is Holly Hutchins. Our advertising operations specialist is Morgan Christensen. Our marketing and publicity associate is Davina Tomlin, and our marketing assistant is Cameron Lacey.